All right, all right, all right. I think we got everybody up in here now. I think we should have everyone up in here now. You already know what it is. If you've been checking in, if you haven't checked in before, this is internationally and nationally known, the one and only Chico to the C and the place to be, the B-I-Dub, the D-O-Dub, and I got a special guest going to be joining me today. Former Buff now, I guess it's official. My guy, Jacob Politte, will be entering that transfer portal. So y'all stay tuned. He will be joining me on the show today, or should I say tonight? Isn't it evening time? Let me know where you're checking in from, how you checking in. Put it in the comments right now. If you got any questions for Jacob, put it in the comments right now. We're going to get to them on our Q&A session today. If you hear me loud and clearly, let me know in the comments also, and I'll get back to you. So, like I said, we're checking in to you live and in effect over the digital airwaves of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the other good stuff. It is I. Once again, we got one for you. But before we get to that, I got to give you some news out of Boulder, where it's colder and everybody getting busy. If you haven't already, make sure y'all check us out on Buffum Updates. Myself and my guy Adam, we will be giving you guys the news and the latest insights from the Colorado Buffaloes Coach Prime in Boulder. All right. Guess we'll get to the first one. This is my first story of the day. I guess I can bring it to you right now. From the 0 to 60 podcast with former Colorado Buff, of course, Matt McChesney. He was able to go there and have a sit down with Coach Prime on the campus of the University of Colorado, right there in the place where he closes the deals, as Coach Prime said himself, in that room where he has all the recruits at, right? So they had a great interview. Y'all check that out on the 0 to 60 podcast. Coach Prime was on there. He said, we can win now, dog. He said he feel, as you can see the quote right here. Y'all check it out when you get a chance. But I wanted to make sure I say that he feel as though we 100% got it right. We 100% got it right. I really do, Sanders explained. I'm sitting up there watching things that I didn't see and watching places that we didn't go. I'm watching things happen in walkthroughs that are like, and I'm like, that's it. He's seeing what he's want to see, what he's been wanting to see in the past. He's seeing it this year. He feels like he has it right based off what he told Matt McChesney on his show. I want to see what you guys think about that. Coach Prime and the squad that he has put together right now, including the coaching staff, they feel like they can win right now. And as a matter of fact, in Coach Prime's word, we feel like we can dominate, dog. We're not just going to win. We're going to dominate, and we're going to do it in Prime fashion. Let me know in the comments right now. What do y'all feel about that? What are your record predictions for this year? How do you feel like it can go? Is Coach Prime truly confident the way he should be, or is he looking to I think he's always looking to add more pieces, but I really think he feels like he does have the pieces in place right now to go out there and win right now, and not later on have to wait on things to come or whatever. We need this piece. We feel like we have the pieces that we want right now. So stay tuned on that. Stay locked in on Reach the People Media, the pregame show, and also Well Off Media, where it brings me to my next point, where Coach Prime said, we do business. We do business. He was talking to Smitty. Smitty was like, he was showing him something about EA Sports, and Coach Prime cut and said, hey, EA Sports, we do business, dog. And it can only lead for speculation. What is he talking about? People are already in the comments saying, oh, they talking about Shedeur Sanders being on the cover or Travis being on the cover. They got to do business for that. Me speculating, I think it's more of stuff like, are we going to be able to have Coach Prime on the game? Are we going to be able to have his logo on the game, his likeness on the game? Like, all these things, I think they would have to pay a price for to get that logo right there, that Coach Prime logo next to the EA logo on the EA Sports game. I think that's a business deal waiting to happen. And Coach Prime, of course, is the king of marketing and stuff of that nature, and getting in front of the camera in the right way, not just getting there, but getting compensated for it also. And I think him saying to EA Sports, we do business, dog. I wish he would have put a dog on the internet. But he said, we do business, leaves for speculation. I think that speculation is for him to be on the game and for them to have use of his logos, which has become very prominent now. We've seen him collaborating with blenders. I think he wanted to collaborate with some another shoe brand that's out there. We've seen him clothing companies. custom jack, all type of stuff we've seen them collaborating on. So I think this is only another step in that direction to do business with EA Sports and the game. And moving on to the next one, which is recruiting in style. We saw CU Buffs football post this today. It says, check out last year's offer letter. Who's next? And this is what they sent out to the guys, recruits, who they're offering. And I just wanted to put this out there because a lot of people watch this channel might be former players, might be up in age who, I think the demographic is 30 to 65, right? And so we got some former players on here who remember getting letters in the mail, and they were nothing like this. They were just letters. If it was handwritten, you would love it. If it was typed up, you felt special or something. But this right here, if this comes to my house where it pops open like that, what? It's a whole nother ball game, dog. And I love the way they stepping it up. Even got the Louis V print on there. Or should I say the CU/Louis V style print on there. Makes it a lot more special, not just a letter, but they're recruiting in style, as only Coach Prime could do the way that he does it, Hey, I want to see in the comments what y'all think. I see a couple people out there. I got Bridget Maxey up in here. Oh, now Bridget, hard work. Coach G, Mac ENT, Shirley, Tab from Texas, of course. Sadie Reacts, Shay Politte. Okay. Is that Shay or Shia? Did I say it right? I think it's Shay. Marcellus Love, BP, Jermaine King, Blue Devil G. A lot of other people up in here, man. I appreciate y'all checking in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and comment on this as we have the one and only JP, Jacob Politte, coming up next. As I go ahead and cover this topic right here. Pro Day at Colorado coming up this year. And, of course, you'll see the juniors and the seniors. Usually how it goes is the juniors and the seniors will run their 40 times, get tested, for the next coming pro day and then for the NFL draft coming up. So will we see Shiloh run? Will we see Travis Hunter run? Will we see Deion Sanders run out there? And what do y'all think their 40 times will be? This is a lot of times those juniors, it'll be a junior showcase, and a lot of seniors might not even participate. So with them being so high caliber, predicted to be or projected to be top 3 picks, top 5 picks at least, Shedeur and Travis, and then Shiloh down there, maybe at the bottom of the first round or whatever he might go. Who knows whether they'll participate in this, but if they were, what would be their 40 times? How would that pan out? That's going to be something I can't wait to see when we get a chance to see it on that pro day coming out. The date, I don't have the date right now, but I'm sure it'll be coming out soon. All right. If you're still tuning in, if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit it right now, as we have my guys waiting in the back right here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in, as we're going to bring them on right now. Get in the comments. Let me know your questions out there as we bring the big fella on. Jacob Politte, hometown out of Lubbock, Texas, baby. Lubbock Cooper High School, also Jackson State. Major in exploratory studies. Am I saying that wrong? Hold on, let me get him on here. They saying Chico can't read. I'm like Nori. I'm dyslexic sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, JP. What's happening, man?
Not too much. How's it going?
I'm good, dog. I'm out here just chilling, man, trying to get some of this information in. A lot of people been hitting me up, asking me what's going on with JP. Why is he leaving? Have you seen that, Chico? He's leaving out. That's your guy. All this other stuff. So I wanted to holler at you, dog, and just see what's going on. I know you and Coach Prime had a great relationship. You've been one of those guys who've been around Coach Prime, probably as long as Cameron Silman, Craig been around them. Probably one of the longest tenure guys with Coach Prime, coming from Jackson State. So let's get into. I asked the big question first. You'll tell everybody why or how you came to the decision of entering the transfer portal at this point, and then we'll get into your story and let everybody really know about you that might not know about you. So tell us why you made that decision. How did you come about it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty simply, out-of-state tuition at Colorado is a lot. Like y'all know, I'm a walk-on, and it got to a point where I got to weigh my options, and it was a tough decision. But I thought, and I know that I'm good enough to be at a place where I can get my school paid for. And I still think I've kept those relationships with Coach Prime and the guys that, is really like the main reason I wanted to be with Coach Prime, and the reason I turned down a full ride at a FBS school to be at Colorado for that year, really. And so, yeah, it was nothing more than just like it was just a financial issue, and like a lot of people were like I folded and whatnot, but I feel like I'm making the best decision for me.
Yeah, man. That's what you have to do at the end of the day. A lot of people might not understand the walk-on situation where you can play football, you can participate in the game just like a normal player, but you have to pay for that school tuition, right?
Right.
Right. So, and that costs money. that,
Does
that,
does it
that,
ever? Yeah. So
yeah. All right. Well, coming out of high school, you wasn't just a snapper. Tell us about your story coming out of high school, and because we saw some glimpse of it at Jackson State on the well-off videos and stuff, where you
yeah.
were talking smack, letting them know, hey man, hey, I wasn't just a snapper, and then we'll get into snapper also because being a snapper is not easy. I'll tell you my story about that later on. So tell us about your background playing high school football.
Yeah. So growing up, like when I was in elementary school, whatnot, I was playing flag football. I was a quarterback. I was like, oh, I'm the man. Like I could throw, I could read. I could see who's open and know what to do. Like my mind was able to process football from a young age, but you get to middle school and a kid can throw the ball 30, 35 more yards than you can. You're like, oh shoot, like I still want to play, and it's not going to be at quarterback because I just didn't have the talent at that position. And so middle school comes along. I moved to wide receiver. Uh, and then I remember seventh grade practice, and they're looking for a long snapper. It's like no kid's ever like really long snapped in his life up until school ball starts getting somewhat serious. And so I remember they got one of my friends, this tall, lanky kid, and he was a goofy dude. So I saw him trying, and I was like, I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could do that. Like I know how to throw a spiral. Like what's the difference between doing it upside down? And that first day, I remember like the whole practice was going on. The whole time the practice was going on, I'm learning how to long snap with one of the coaches, and I just kind of had a knack for it. Like it's really not a position that I've taught kids how to snap and whatnot. It's not really a position that comes natural, but to me, it felt like it clicked for me really early on, and then so I used that a way to get on the field whenever I wasn't playing football or playing receiver or starting at receiver. And then we carry on into high school. My freshman year, I was the third team. I was a third string receiver on my freshman team, but I was still a long snapper, so I was seeing the field. Sophomore year, I'm on JV. I'm splitting reps with the guy at receiver, but I'm still the starting long snapper. For the playoffs, I get moved up to be the backup long snapper. And then my junior year, I become the starting long snapper on varsity. I'm the third string receiver. I had like 3 catches. And then, so that's the year that COVID hit for me. And so I remember going into the off season, I was like, I love where I'm from and I love what I represent. And I was growing up I love at Cooper in the program for a long time. I was a ball boy. And it's just something that meant a lot to me. And I wanted to be like guys that I had seen and looked up to when I was younger. And
Mhm.
so COVID hit, and I saw that as an opportunity to, a lot of people found the excuse to just sit around, and, maybe it was a little more lenient for me since I was in Texas, but I put on about 20 pounds, got faster. I had 3 catches my junior year and about 35 my senior year, became a first team all district receiver, led a regional final team in receiving, and then I long snapped, of course, along the way, but it was like I maybe snapped the ball once a week at practice. And I remember we'd be playing and we'd have like a pretty decent drive, get a couple first downs, and then like I'm playing 9 plays and I got to go snap the ball. I'm not even worried about snapping a football at that point. I'm just trying to breathe. And so that's what I'm saying is like it came pretty easy to me. And then, season ends. I'm like, okay, like just gonna go to college, have fun, get an education. I was gonna go to Texas Tech, and then 2 weeks before I graduate high school, I get DM on Twitter from a guy that knew the special teams coordinator at Jackson State, who I'm a big fan of, Coach Alan Ricard.
Yep.
And I remember I was sitting in my forensics class. He's like, "Would you be interested in snapping at the D1 level?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, like who wouldn't be?" But like, I'm just going to go to Texas Tech. Like that can't be serious,
Yeah.
you know. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, I remember I'm sitting in that class. I'm like, okay, like maybe Texas Tech needs one, maybe some Texas school. And I'm like, if it's outside of Texas, I don't really care for it. And then he's like, it's Jackson State, and I was like, it sounds familiar, but I'm like, I don't really know what that is. And he's like, that's where Deion Sanders coaches, and it's a pretty easy selling point for about 100% of the players in the country. It seems like. And so I remember, like when that happened, I didn't have a lot of time to make a decision for that, but like it was definitely like a God sent thing for that opportunity and what it's turned into now for sure.
Definitely. I saw you say you had like what, like 2 weeks to make the decision
Yeah,
after you had the offer. You had like 2 weeks.
if that, maybe a week.
Wow. Shouts out to Coach Alan Ricard. Did you find out how he got in touch with you? How did you come across his desk? How did he find you?
Yeah, so uh, a guy that's real close to me and helps me out with this process, but Hunter Holmes, he works for one-on-one kicking, or he used to. He worked on the staff at Louisiana Monroe when Coach Ricard was there.
Mm.
He was like, and Coach Ricard told him, "Hey Hunter, I need a snapper," and found me.
There you go. And then at Jackson State, they offered you a preferred walk-on deal there. And you go to Jackson State, and I could pull up some pictures right here. I see what you guys think about this. But you go to Jackson State, and here's a shot right here, right? You're on the field. You got Coach Prime giving you a high five right there. Tell me some thoughts from seeing this picture right here.
Man, that was my sophomore year. Like I was really blossoming into like a legit college player, and that's when Mata hit the scene and we're doing our thing. But like I remember, because Coach Prime's a busy man. Like I talk to him on and off, but it's not like an everyday thing. Like you see him in practice, you really don't want to talk to him while you're at practice. So it's like my whole freshman year, I kind of flew under the radar, tried to do the right things, and I did, and that's why me and Coach Prime had like such a respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was never like we are close, but it was never like I go into his office and talk to him all the time. But it was just like he told me he respected me off of how I carried myself whenever
Yeah.
like I wasn't directly talking to him or wasn't directly talking to a coach, which meant a lot to me. But like just to play for a coach that has the level of faith that he does, not only in Christ but in his players and the mission that he's building towards. It it's the same thing like I said earlier when I was like really working hard to play for my school. Like I wanted to play so hard for Coach Prime and really better myself for Coach Prime,
Mm-hmm.
and just I didn't want to let him down.
Talk about some of your experiences, whether it's your freshman year or when you first or your sophomore year, or whatever. Some of your experiences at Jackson State. As you said, you didn't really know about it coming out of high school,
Yeah.
but then when you find out about it, you do some research. You see a HBCU. What are your thoughts and some of the things that you had to go through, or that you liked, or just different environments for that culture shock going down to Jackson State from Lubbock, Texas?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was super different, but like I was never around like a, a majority of black people in my life. Like being in Lubbock, Texas, my school was probably 80% white.
Mm-hmm.
And like going there, it was like, oh, like I don't know, like will they accept me? Well, how it is like for anyone. And like just seeing how much the Jackson State community loved each other, but also reciprocated that love for me. It really did just make me want to play harder and uh, just really show my like loyalty to the fans and what we were doing at Jackson State.
Yeah. And just going down there and having your family come down, and I can show this picture right here too as we go through. But going down and having your family come down, and what were some of the things that stood out? Is it the food, the weather, the culture? What are some of the things that stood out for yourself and your family?
Yeah, I mean, the weather, it was so humid. I could not get over how humid it was. It was dry. It's dry in Lubbock. Like, it's
Yeah,
hot, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I was I felt the air that I was breathing in. You know what I
right.
mean? Like that type of humid.
You said it right there. I know exactly what you mean. But coming from West Texas, dog, it's hot in West Texas too now.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
But like you said, it's kind of like a different type of heat, you know. Same
Definitely.
way, like I live out here in Hawaii, and the wind blows out here at least, you know. But
Yeah.
back home, like you said, you can gasp, but I can feel the air that I'm breathing. It's crazy.
It's like you're
So
not even getting any air, it's just getting hotter.
yeah,
It's crazy.
shouts out to Jackson, Mississippi, and everywhere down south, man. I showed a picture of your fam right here. Shout out your fam one time.
Oh, yeah. In that picture, my dad, Ty, Kyle, my mom's in the chat. I've told them before, but, like, really the main reason I wanted to take that leap of faith to be at Jackson State and to go to Colorado, was for my younger brothers. Like, the youngest one's still playing football. The Ty, the middle brother, like, I spent all day with him today. And, like, even though I'm not in the mix right now playing football, it's been a really special thing to me to be able to spend time with my family and, like, see my brothers again and still be, like, in the mix with them and being a big brother again is really cool to me. I guess you could say I was like that with Mata, but to be in it with my little brothers is good.
Well, you brought it up, your guy Mata, and I saw you guys forge a pretty special relationship. It seemed down in Jackson State. A lot of people thought you, him, and who was it, G Baby down there? I think G
Yep.
Baby were all brothers or something like that. How did you guys just mesh? Talk about your relationship down in Jackson State.
Well, I think it's funny because at Jackson State it was three guys that, like, were about to graduate, and then it was me, Mata, and G Baby.
Yeah,
And so we just got real close over that. I hosted Mata on his visit to Jackson State, and I remember it was real short. Like, I just went to the hotel and talked to him. And I see this little kid. His eyes got super wide, and I'm just like trying not to scare him. I'm like, bro, Jackson's great. Like, you'll love it here. All yada yada. You know,
yeah.
all I have to say really is Coach Prime is great, which everyone knows. But I just remember thinking, like, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna make it here. You
Right.
know, but he's a completely different kid now. Like, this confident kid you see dancing after a game winner in Arizona State was not the same kid that sat in that, seat in front of me at the hotel in Jackson. And I think that's just a testament to not only to him, but to Coach Prime's belief in Mata that he was able to reciprocate and reflect for himself. And I think that's the biggest selling point for Coach Prime is, like, what kind of confidence are you going to get from someone other than a coach that has a gold jacket? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, he's seen ball, he's seen what it takes, and for him to have confidence in you, it's just exponential the amount of confidence that you have in yourself.
Right. And shouts out to the, like I said, Jackson, Mississippi. What about some of the best food that you've had down there? Because I know, like in Lubbock, it's a little bit different than in Mississippi. So
Yeah,
tell me about some of your favorite dishes and places to eat in Jackson, Mississippi.
that was the first time I had crawfish was in Jackson, and I
Mm.
loved it. There's a place called the Pig and Pint right outside the vet. It's a little barbecue spot. The barbecue's still better in West Texas, but it could keep up. It kept up at that place in Jackson, but it wasn't really even as much the food that I loved about Jackson so much, but how kind everyone was and, like, just the community, like the Southern hospitality part of it.
Mhm.
Like, I had people there that took care of me, like, that weren't family. They saw my mom's Facebook post when I committed, and they took care of me. Like, I went to church with them every Sunday. We'd go to
Wow.
lunch afterwards. Like, if I needed a place to stay, like when the water situation happened, I went and stayed with them. Like, Boulder was cool, but, like, you're not getting that in Colorado.
Yeah. That Southern hospitality is not just, you know, hyped up what it, hey, it's real, you know. Like you said, they saw a Facebook post and hit you up.
Yeah.
Man. Shout out to them. Much love to everybody in the families down in Jackson. And Johnny T's also. I don't know. Did you have some Johnny T's?
They would have it catered a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Johnny T's. All right. So bam, you go to Colorado. I don't want to skip over it too fast, but let's go to this picture right here as we bounce around right quick. Talk about your guys, your spec guys, and the relationship and how close does the spec unit have to be in order to be successful on the football team?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot like every other position. Like you're relying on these guys a lot, and like you're with them all the time. Like fall camp, it's literally like you're there with them for about 12 hours a day. It feels like so. You have to get along. You have to be close, and man, I'm gonna miss them a lot, honestly. Like especially Mata and Mark, like my roommates. Uh, it was just a real special bond. Like we all got along. Like we're all around the same age. Besides Mark's old, you know what? But but like we all like have similar interests, and we all understood what it took to really be good and be great even. And so we that room's the most competitive room in on the whole team, or it was.
Yeah, I can
But
imagine. Shoot, you can say Mark and Mata, your roommates. I can
yeah,
imagine what's going on in there. You got a guy from Beaufort, Georgia, by way of Honduras, of course,
yeah.
and in Mexico, of course, and yourself, Lubbock, then Mark, all the way down in Australia. What are some of the conversations you guys would be having in there? What was that like? What was that dynamic like?
Mostly just making fun of each other's slang. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nah, but we'd talk about anything. We'd go hoop. I'd have to make sure Mata would pass the ball, not shoot something stupid. Mark's actually a really good athlete, which you wouldn't expect. He can dunk. He can dunk. But we'd go play basketball and just talk about anything. Like we'd have endless inside jokes that I can't even really talk about. But it's just we were so close. It really felt like we were brothers, and
yeah.
it felt I felt at home when I was hanging out with them.
I have a question. Shouts out to Mata in the chat right now. Y'all hit up Alejandro Mata in the chat.
Yeah.
And any other of the spec guys in the chat, shout out to them. My guy Big Mark was said also. What is wait, hold on. So Mata is a ball hog on the basketball court?
No, you just probably don't want him to shoot it really.
All right, Mata, you heard that, right?
I'm
Let's
gonna
see.
get I'm gonna get a text about that pretty soon, but it's all
Yeah.
right.
All right, let me know your questions in the chat. Get in the chat right now. Ask your questions. We got JP right now in the on the show joining me, man. I appreciate you joining me. Coming to you live from West Texas, man, where they play some real serious football. I know you decided to go to Colorado with Coach Prime, of course. Did you and Mata make the decision at the same time? Was it more just on your own making that decision? And how easy was it for you to make the decision?
I mean, it was it was separate. Like it was obviously he went first, so and he knew he had a scholarship there, so he was like, J Po, like I need you over here. And I was like, that helped a lot in making my decision, but it was really difficult because I had a full ride scholarship to FBS school where you don't give a scholarship to a snapper if he's not going to start, and
Mm-hmm.
that was real enticing to me. But so was the chance to compete and still continue to play for Coach Prime at Colorado, and like there's things that hindered uh, my availability to play for the team, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't regret my decision at all.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's get into the season. Some of the best parts of the season, because like you said, there was a lot of competition in that room, man. From the kickers, or should I say, the kickers to the punters to the snappers, whatever. It was a lot of competition. You can look at all those guys and say, hey, either one of them can be on the field right now.
Yeah,
And so, we go. Or you had some of the, you got Coach Prime first game in Colorado. You have the first game at TCU that you guys play. What was one of your fondest memories and moments from the season this year?
it has to be the TCU game. I mean, growing up as a kid, watching Texas Tech all the time, they're a Big 12 school. Like I've seen TCU play all the time. We go in their house and beat them. It was so surreal. Like I just remember walking in the stadium during walkthrough and just thanking God for the opportunity and like how like unbelievably perfect everything was set up to be for that moment to happen. And it's not by luck, but like by Coach Prime's hard work and my hard work, and ultimately God for arranging that divine moment for everyone.
Yeah, it was packed in there. I got a little picture right here. It was packed in there, man. That was a nice day. I played in it a long time ago. Probably when they first built the stadium, I played in that thing. But yeah, I kind of I was gonna say I kind of, but I did predict that to be an upset, just based like you say, everything was set up. You coming into the first game of Coach Prime era, they don't know what to prepare for, and you bring in a lot of talented guys who's hungry, and they know that this is a chance to steal a game right here, and they went out there. You guys went out there and did that, so that was really had the season on tilt. Everybody's hyped up. You go 1-0, then 2-0, then 3-0, right? How was that first game? The first two wins in Folsom Field.
It was unbelievable. It felt it was just cool to like see everything begin to come together, and that's when you knew like Coach Prime like he's a legit football coach. He wasn't just a great player. He's not just a great recruiter, but like
Yeah.
he can coach his butt off too. And a lot of that is credit to the players and on both sides, like wins and losses. But he's continuing to put it together, and I think just how deep his passion is for not only football but student athletes and kids, and like getting those kids the opportunities that he once had. It's so powerful what he does.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of that, you had a lot of different opportunities, a lot of things that came your way that probably wouldn't come your way or, any player's way had they not been in that situation and taken that chance to go to Colorado. Here's one right here, man. I'm going to show this one right here. You tell everybody who this is and what happened right here.
I mean, that's Key Glock right there. I listened to his music all the time in high school, and it's just surreal feeling. Like even being at Jackson State, it kind of came numb to me because you see Snoop Dogg and Rick Ross, but like someone that you actually like listen to come up and like have been a fan of for a while. It was just real cool to be able to meet him, and like he actually remembered me from Jackson State because I had gotten a picture with him at Jackson State.
Yeah.
So it was dope for sure.
That's fire right there because he's cousins with RIP Young Dolph, right? Who really had a relationship with Coach Prime, came down to Jackson State, showed his face there amongst all the other celebrities, and then he continued it on and came up to Colorado, and you was able to get this pick snap right here, and all the other celebrities that was there. Who was one of your favorite ones other than Key Glock that you were able to see up in Colorado this year?
Oh man, actually, the coolest one for me, so I was a college football fan before I was ever a college football player, right? And so when game day came to Colorado, as soon as practice ended, I was like, "Mata, we're going, bro." And we
Yeah.
went and watched game day. I'm a big fan of the Pat McAfee show, and so I'm walking back to my car. I was in the parking garage at the facility, and this car pulls up with blacked out windows, and someone gets out, and it was Pat McAfee, and I was like, "Oh my god." And so I just talked to him for like 2 minutes, like no picture or anything. It was super like natural. It was super cool. Like it was super nice to just be able to talk to him, like not have to be like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And then be like, "Sure." Which like he
Mhm.
wouldn't have been, but that's how he feels.
Right.
He's a busy man, so it was cool to just be able to talk to him about ball and like and just introduce myself. So
Man, that's cool right there because you get to meet him. I was able to meet Michael Irvin and Shannon Sharp and
yeah,
Stephen A. Smith and guys like that there, man. Wu Tang and Cameron and the list goes on.
oh forever.
Good game to see you guys on the sideline, which I was able to be on also, which was something crazy to see you guys on the sideline, ready for Coach Prime's first game, your guys' first game at Folsom Field. And so, for everybody who's just joining in, we have J Poe, aka JP Jacob Politte, and he is entering the transfer portal from Colorado. what are your plans moving forward? And are you officially in the portal yet, or you have to wait till it opens?
Yeah, so as a walk-on, I can enter it whenever. I don't have to wait for the window or whatnot. So I'm in it and I can talk to coaches right now. So
Okay. All right. So the plan is to continue playing football. Is it to? Would you rather stay in Texas, or is the whole everywhere open right now for you?
shoot, I mean, at this point, I'd go play in Australia to get my
Right.
school paid for. So maybe not that deep, but I would love to stay in Texas for sure. But I would honestly just want to get back on the field and prove to myself that I can still play at a high and play and impact the game at a high level.
hmm And you have 2 years left.
Mm-hmm.
2 years left on the field, but you're a senior in the classroom,
Junior,
or junior in the classroom, and
right
you
now,
have
I'll be a senior.
okay, and 2 years remaining. So, um, coaches, teams, scouts, recruiters, player personnel guys, check them out. You got a good character guy here. And snapping, man, is not something that's easily done out there, and you probably won't get noticed unless you mess up. Almost like an offensive lineman, right? You mess up a snap, then everybody knows your name. You do it the correct way, and it's like nobody did it. You know what I mean? At my junior and senior year, because like you said, I was a former quarterback younger, so I knew how to throw the ball through a sparrow. So they say, hey, if you could throw, you can snap, right?
Right.
Not so easy.
No.
Not so easy. You have to put in that work. And once you get that craft kind of, I wouldn't say perfected, but good enough to where you can do it in the game and be confident of it, that's something that can lead you to the NFL.
True.
Talk about running down the field after snapping the ball to make tackles. What's the most exciting thing about it? I would think it would be that making the tackle, right?
That's the easiest part. I'll tell you that much. Because like on that part, it's just effort. Like I was probably I'm probably one of the faster snappers that you'll see, but like at that point, it's just effort and like aggression, which is not very common in a lot of snappers either.
Mm-hmm.
But like at that point, I knew that I could just try harder than everyone, like in coverage. But you can't try harder to snap it better. That's just not how it works, unfortunately. Or else I'd be better, you know. And
Yeah.
so, uh, yeah, that's the fun part. Like I remember there's pictures at Jackson State where I'm running down the field on punt team with James Houston, who had like 8 sacks in the NFL his rookie year for the Lions. So
Yep.
like it's just stuff like that. Like if you told junior year Jacob Politte that he'd be on the same field as a NFL athlete, both trying to tackle the same guy, I'd be like, yeah, yeah, right.
But
So
you were headhunting out there. Was there a different philosophy when snapping at Jackson State versus snapping at Colorado?
yeah, it was a completely different scheme at Jackson State. The scheme at Jackson State allowed me to be like use my athleticism, but I got to Colorado and was asked to block, which was fine, and I adjusted to it pretty well. Put on like 20 pounds, but I definitely like running down the field and making plays a lot more.
Would you say blocking after snapping is a little bit harder than just taking off?
No doubt, no
And
doubt.
all right.
Especially when you were never like a blocker. Like I played, I
Yeah.
blocked. I was a good blocker at receiver in high school, but it was not like I'm doing like kick steps or
Yeah.
footwork like that. Like blocking on the edge like at receiver. That's an effort thing too. So I had to learn a lot of technique, and I got to that point. But
Yeah, it's just a lot different though. You snapping, got your head between your legs, looking between your legs, snapping the ball. You got bigger guys rushing right at you. You know,
uh,
so
I have a there was a practice where like we work every single look you can possibly see. And so there's one where Savell he's in the right C gap, he's twisting, coming into the A gap. I'm supposed to get him because the A gap defender goes with the B gap. I look for the loop, pick him
mhm.
up. What's a guy like me supposed to do? I get 2 steps back. Savell gets a running start, 6'6", 260 at me. he legit just straight bulldozed me. I just pulled him down with me. We got the punt off. I was like, all right, that works with me.
Yeah,
But that's why I wish I could just go run down the field. So,
you take the chance on getting that holding call. Just pull them down rather than
oh yeah, I'll snap it again if I have to.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Savell Small. That's a big fella, former 5-star coming off that end. Now he's at tight end. Um, your thoughts on the offensive side of the football and the changes that's looking to be made? What do you think is going to be the outlook for the team on the offensive side of the football this year?
I mean, you just got talent everywhere. I mean, you got a revitalized O line. Like even when I was in the workouts in the spring, like you can see a different type of leadership from that O line. You're bringing in different guys to the tight end room. Like Mikey was great for us, but you got legit tight ends that like really like have been tight ends.
Yeah.
And bringing in Savell like to get him in, but dude from Cincinnati, he can go. And then Coach Bartolone's coaching him, who's one of the better football minds I've been around. And then you bring in Jason Phillips, who was the receivers coach when I was at Jackson. Me and him get along pretty well. And he coaches really hard, but he gets the most out of his athletes. And I think that'll be a good thing for, guys like Jimmy. Trav holds himself to the highest standard I've ever seen, so I'm not too worried about him. But, there's a lot of guys that I think are going to see the benefits from having those new coaches and, being able to get in a full offseason with the schemes from Coach Pat. And I'm really excited for him.
Yeah. Shedeur Sanders. Let's get on Shedeur. What are some things that you saw from Shedeur Sanders that makes him stand out?
Like he can throw the ball with anybody, but the thing that stood out to me the most was just his toughness. And like he never really did blame the O-line when there was plenty of opportunities to do that. But, just standing up for Trav and standing up for himself and standing up for the team, like I don't know if it was the Colorado State game or what it was, or it was the Arizona State game when if he goes down, we're in real trouble, right? That was my fear the whole year. And he takes off scrambles and tries to run through a dude because he knows we're in a close game, and like he gets us fired up. We eventually end up winning that game, but his toughness and not only his ability to process things on the field, but to process what he can do to better the team in any way.
Yeah. Travis Hunter. I know you said he holds himself to the highest standard you've ever seen. Talk about some of those things that you did see with him. I know a lot of people might have seen on Willoff videos where when you guys doing stuff like running the stadiums, he's one of the guys in the front. He's leading. He's talking. It doesn't seem like he's ever getting tired. Talk about Travis Hunter and the uber athlete he is.
I mean, I could talk about Travis for hours, but not only is he's so talented and like gifted by God to like do the things that he does. Like you can only work so hard to get where he's at, but that's what sets him apart is that he works so hard and holds himself to that type of standard. Like, and it's not just in football. Like, it's crazy, but we'll play Fortnite and we'll die, and he'll like break down why we died. And I'm like, bro, it's not that serious. He's like, you should have built here. You should have, I'm like, bro, come on. But that's just the type of guy that Travis is. Like anything he's doing, he wants to win and be dominant in it. And it really does translate to the field. And I think if I'm an NFL GM, whenever he's ready to get out, if you need a dog, I don't know how you see him or two and you're like, I'm good. There's just no way.
That's crazy. Okay, so if you're the NFL GM, since you said it, you have Travis Hunter sitting on the board. You take him, or what do you take him as? A wide receiver, a cornerback, or both?
A football player.
A football player. And you let him go out there and play.
Oh, yeah. Because if you don't let him do that, then he's not going to want to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's why him and Coach Prime work out so well. Yeah. Because he has that respect for Coach Prime because he's done it. Like I remember the FAMU game when he was a freshman, Coach Prime told him, he's like, I can't let you go out there like this. And he still went out there and like they threw 2 balls to him and they didn't catch him. And then they was like, oh, we're good. Like we ended up winning that game by like 1,000,000 points anyways.
Yeah.
But like, just it's so perfect that Trav has Coach Prime and Coach Prime has Trav.
Mhm.
Like they work very well in unison together for the betterment of CU. And I think like his I've never seen an athlete have everything, like the work ethic,
Yeah.
the 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 talent, like the gifts that he has, as well as like mentally how strong he is, not only in football but like in media and everything he does.
Mhm. All types of NIL deals. You yourself, I saw, you had a NIL deal. Was that considered to be an NIL situation? I saw in the chat, as we're gonna get to the questions in the chat also, saying, "Could an NIL pay for your school's tuition?" These are chat questions also. So, can
It,
NIL pay for school tuition? I think so if it's enough, right?
it could, yeah, it could, but I'm not Travis Hunter, so I don't
Right.
think it is. You know,
All right, y'all hear that in the chat. All right, let's get to some chat questions real quick before we have to get up out of here. I thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you sitting here with me, dog. Let me
love it.
see. How would you encourage new players to use their time wisely? From G.
I think especially young players is playing a bunch of sports. Like I played basketball, I played baseball, football. I'd mess around, play golf, like anything, whatever it is to compete when you're young. Like I think it's so valuable to do that. Like because now I coach athletes, and I'm like, "Have you ever played basketball?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Oh, well, then I don't really know how to like tell you how
Yeah,
to do this." You know what I mean? And so like, there's so many things that are so applicable to just being an athlete in every sport. Like if like Travis was a great is a great basketball player. But, like, you see it in football, like, with how he goes up and high points the ball and, like, the
mm,
spatial awareness that he has, but I think for young athletes, I think you need to play as many sports as you can when you're young. I think it's so dumb how kids wanna specialize in certain sports from, there's so many kids, especially in Texas, that just end up just playing baseball when they're, like, in 6th grade on.
mhm. All right, we have a question here. I hate to put you on the spot, but Southbound 3000 said, "Can JP come back to JSU? What's the deal? Coach TC would love him back."
TC can call me, and we'll talk. I love
Coach
TC
TC.
too, though.
Yeah, Coach TC. Shout out to Coach TC Taylor down there at Jackson State. Guard the yard, play for TC. Y'all holler at J Po, man. You know, sure. Brian Johnson said, "Why wasn't there any NIL that could be offered for high school tuition or for his school tuition?" Okay, I think that's the question I saw earlier. Another one saying, "Can you go back to Jackson State?" What one thing you've learned from Coach Prime?
I mean, it's hard to narrow it down to just one, but I think the biggest thing is how he attacks every day and makes the most out of every day. And like people would ask me when I come home, and they're like, "Is he really there like all the time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like all the time." Like he's in a on a scooter doing sit-ups on a yoga ball while we're conditioning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just seeing him and how he uses his time and how he picks and chooses like when to have certain conversations and like the right things to say. It's just everything since I was at Jackson State, I've just tried to be a fly on the wall. So I eventually want to coach, and I can glean so much not from just Coach Prime, but from all the coaches. And
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing that I've benefited from just being in college. Like the opportunities are cool to go to these stadiums and whatnot, but to be able to learn from different coaches and see like the different techniques that become effective to bettering their players, it's really beneficial for me. So
Very nice, man. Um, let's see here. More questions and comments. Shouts out to Taylor Sadusky. My girl Taylor said, "Best of luck to your future, Jacob. Who or what is your why in this world to keep yourself motivated going into new situations?"
yeah, I said it earlier, but it really is my younger brothers. Like I would die for them. We've been through stuff together, and that's what makes us so close. And like they're just we're all just alike in a lot of ways, but we're really different in other ways that, make us unique. And I want to be I want to be the consistency that's in their life, just to be
Mhm.
somebody that they can lean on and look up to, and that they can see is like really cared about what they're doing. And like I'm pretty good with words this whole time, but when I start talking about my brothers, you know, brain kind of starts running crazy. So
Yeah. What about this one then? Who's faster, you or your brother Ty?
me, I's fast. He's bigger than me though. Like he could have played real ball if he wanted to. He's a dog.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and give a shout out to some of your favorite coaches and teammates from CU while we have a chance. This your shout out time right now. We're gonna put you on right here. Let's go.
Got to shout out my freshman roommate JB. Shout out Cam Stillman. Shout out Mata, Mark, all the specs, man. Tyler Brown, my guys, Miss Lowe, the GOAT, Neely, Coach Prime, Coach Trevor. Uh, there's just being with those people from Jackson and going into this new journey that we went on that I'm sad to not be a part of anymore, but I always cherish and really just have the utmost respect for the people that I just named.
Much love and much respect to all of those guys and staff members and teammates out there. We're gonna continue the shout outs real quick to your family and everybody in Lubbock, Texas, one time.
Yeah. Mom, dad, Ty, Kyle. I mean, I said it this whole time. I do this for y'all, and I'm going to continue to do it for y'all. And to Lubbock, Texas, like this is a place where dreams can go and go for the sky if you really want it to. Like I said it when I signed to Colorado, but like I was never the fastest or the strongest or the biggest or most gifted, but I wanted it bad enough that eventually that door opened and I took off and hit it. And I think there's so many kids that are in Lubbock that have the talent or have the ability to go make it big, but their want to isn't there. And I think want to is the biggest thing in this aspect of collegiate athletics. And I wish I really want kids in my area to really dream bigger than what they dream.
Yes. And before we leave out, for all the coaches or personnel people or anybody who's watching this that want to contact you, how can they contact you?
My Twitter, Jacob Politte underscore. That's really the best place. That's where a lot of coaches have been hitting me up so far. So
Hmm.
pretty good about responding. I mean, as you can see from this interview, I can I want to brag on myself here a little bit, but I can affect the game more than just being a player. Like a lot of people say, like it's cool to be a great teammate, but you ask any of my guys at Jackson State or Colorado, like I pride myself on really being a great teammate and being
Hmm.
able to help out anywhere really. Like my knowledge of the game extends deeper than just special teams or just snapping, and I really feel like any program that takes a chance on me, I can elevate it.
Like you said, you're looking to be a future coach. After you do your thing with whoever gives you a chance right here, whoever's smart enough to see this and see a good, respectable, articulate young man right here who Coach Prime can vouch for also. So you have that backing behind you. Moving forward, wherever you go, you have a good report area. It's all about those relationships. Can you speak on relationships before you get out of here one time? Speak on relationships and how important they are for, especially for the young guys out here who's looking to go to college.
Sure. I mean, I learned it from my dad since I was young, and we went to every Tech home game for free, just off people he knew and growing up in the city, and everybody he sees, like he's respectful to and gets along with and really cares about them. So, like even coaches that hit me up in the on Twitter, like maybe if I don't want to go to their school, I still give them the time because
Hmm.
maybe after this spring they end up at a school that I would love to go to, or maybe one day I can end up doing something for them. And so I think the biggest thing is to stay consistent enough to that whenever you run into the right person or whoever, that they remember that you were who you were, and how your behavior was towards them. That'll determine where you're elevated or demoted.
Much love. Yeah, see, I hope everybody hear that out there about those relationships. And wise words from Jacob right here. A lot of people are in the chats right now asking for a fund or something they can support you with. They don't want to see you go. So much stuff going on here. But I would say, once again, hit them up on Twitter. Hit them up on Twitter. Give them that Twitter name one more time.
I believe it's Jacob Politte _. My Instagram is Jacob _Politte, but I'm checking it right now. Yep, Jacob Politte _
Lee _ and I think I had it on here somewhere too. I should have. There you go, Jacob _Politte on Instagram. Find that. If you got questions, hit him up, ask him, and maybe he'll have a link for you guys for any type of support of that nature. So, one last, I guess, shout out, goodbye, say your last word, whatever. So, Big Dog Chico fans and chat and gang, whatever out there, much love to you guys. Here's J-Po one more time.
Yeah, CU fans, if this is the last you're hearing from me, really cherish the people that you have in that building right now, because a lot of them are starting to start doing really big things real soon. And while Boulder will always be a great place, I hope y'all remember what Coach Prime has done for the team and what guys like Shador and Shiloh and Travis are really doing for the community. And I hope that y'all don't only support them, but continue to support the players that have been there before Coach Prime was there, and all of them that are still like really toughing it out and still being there, because it's never easy. It's never easy doing what they're doing. And I mean, CU's just has been really blessed that Coach Prime has been there and brought in all these players, and I'm really excited for them. I can't explain it enough how excited I am to see my guys really succeed, because I know they're going to take off.
Yeah. Well, you're part of that. You're one of the guys too. So wherever you go, wherever it takes you, make sure you check in, holler at your boy, and holler at your fans and the gang. Everybody out here, this is the fam now, and just check in. You know what I mean? And let us know, keep us updated with everything you have going on.
Yes, sir. We'll do for sure.
For sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you checking in. They're asking, gosh, they're saying, "What's your cash app, man?" They killing me over here. What's your cash app? What's your cash app? Cash app. Put your cash app on the screen for $1,000.
The cash app is just JPO2. Just the $sign JPO2.
We type it in there, make sure. $sign JPO2. The number 2 or TWO?
Number 2.
Number 2. All right. It's in the chat right now on Cash App. Hit them up if you want to. Hit them up if you want to. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you laughing at me in the chat. Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. This has been another edition of the Big Dog Chico Show with my guest, Jacob Politte. And stay tuned. We got more to come. And he'll be checking back in and keep y'all updated also. Hit him up online right now. And with any questions or whatever you have, donations, whatever. All right. Thank you guys for coming out. J-Po, appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. Much love.
Much love. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. And good night. B-I-dub, D-O-dub, Chico to the C and place to be. Peace.